Hey, thanks for watching my channel. Today what I'm going to talk about is how to build immediate rapport with your prospect when you're talking to them, regardless of whether you're talking to them in person or whether you're talking to them through video chat. And so the easiest way to do it is making sure your camera's on. It is very difficult to build rapport with somebody when your camera is not on. Even if their camera is not on, having yours on will hopefully encourage them to turn theirs on. When they join the call, think about the way you feel when you show up to a house and there's a dog there waiting for you, just super excited to see you, regardless of anything that you've done or said. That's the same type of mentality that you want to have when your prospect joins the call. The reality is that you should feel like that because this is a great opportunity to turn this prospect into a potential client. It took a lot of work to get this call, so you should be excited to talk to them. And I don't mean that you should jump up and down when they join the call, but what you do want to do is smile, open your eyes widely, just be excited to see them. From there, a great way to build rapport with somebody immediately is to ask them how they're doing and genuinely be interested. Listen to them closely. Think about it like you are lost and you're asking for directions. You want to lean in, be fully present, which is the next thing that you want to do, which is make sure that all of your devices are turned off. So that way you can be 100% present when you're speaking to the prospect. You don't want to be distracted. You don't want to be getting emails. The prospect needs to know that you are there to talk to them. Everything that they say is extremely interesting to you, and they're the most important people in the world to you right now, because that's the truth. When you're talking to a prospect, that is the most important person in the world to you at that moment. From there, make sure that you're smiling. Use the first name. We learn in the book How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. The first name is one of the most sweetest things that anybody can hear. So use their name early and often throughout your conversations. The next thing you want to do is to be genuinely enthusiastic about your solutions. You are there to help them. You are excited about the opportunity to help them. And that's what you want to convey when you're talking to them. That enthusiasm, that confidence will transfer to your prospect. They'll get excited about what you're saying. The last thing I'll talk about, which is maybe the most important thing, is questions. Getting them to talk about themselves. That is the best and quickest way to get to know somebody, is telling a story about yourself and encouraging them to do the same. So I'm not talking about a personal story either. I'm talking about getting to know them and understanding what's important to them in their job. Truly be genuinely interested and curious to know, so that way you can determine whether you can help them or not. So when they're talking, make sure you're listening, lean in, ask clarifying questions as needed, get them to talk about themselves. Everybody loves to talk about themselves. And so the more that you can get your prospect to, the better your meeting is going to be. That's the more productive way of conducting a meeting. Not when you're there, the salesperson is talking the whole time. It's when you're there listening to what's important to them. At the end of the day, that's what's going to make the sale. And so the more they're talking, the better. The more you're talking, the less you're selling. The next thing I'll talk about is being agreeable. Generally speaking, you should be agreeing with the majority of the things they say. And the reason for that is because people don't like to be talking to people that are disagreeable. So if you do disagree with them, for the most part, keep your comments to yourself. On the flip side of that, when they make a smart comment, when they say something that's intelligent, let them know. And this doesn't just go for your sales calls, it goes for any conversation you're having. I think one of the things that people don't do enough is genuine compliments. When somebody makes a really smart point and you acknowledge the fact that it's a really smart point in your head, but you don't make it vocal. Make it vocal. Tell them, let them know, hey, that was a really smart question. Oh, I didn't think about that. That was really intelligent. That's the type of thing that's going to make your prospect feel good about themselves. And that's the message you want to convey. That's what you want your prospect to leave your meeting feeling like. People won't always remember what you said, but they will always remember how you made them feel. So your goal should be to get them to feel good about themselves. And a great way to do that is to have genuine compliments throughout the conversation. If you do have a question, make sure you ask them. Never interrupt them. That's super important because nobody likes being interrupted. If they're saying something, maybe a thought pops into your head. It's important that you don't disrupt their flow for two reasons. One, by disrupting them, you may not get all the information that you would need to make the sale. And the second reason is, of course, it's annoying. People don't like to get interrupted, right? Think about it as we're at a therapist, and every time that we're speaking, they cut you off. Every time they had something to say and asked you another question. That would not feel good. think of yourself as somebody who's there to listen to what your prospect has to say. Now, that's not to say that if they go off on a tangent that has nothing to do with your solution, you shouldn't wrangle them back in, and you do that by asking a relevant question for your offering. Just to wrap this up, to summarize, when they join the call, lean in, be excited to see them, smile, open your eyes wide, be enthusiastic when you're talking. When they're talking, be leaned in, make sure they know that you're 100% present, turn off all of your devices so you can be 100%, use their name throughout, smile, and by doing all of these things, you'll build immediate rapport and they'll want to meet with you again. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Hope that it was something that was helpful. I have a book coming out in this fall. It's called Top Sales Producer, How to Crush Your B2B Sales Quota. I take you through all of my day-to-day processes, step by step from your first day in sales, everything what to say and do, all the way through how I became a top sales producer at my company. Now I manage $80 million a year, and I take you through all the processes of how I got here. Subscribe if you did get a lot of value out of this. I hope that you watch the next one. And remember, if you're not helping, you're not selling. Thanks.